Hello and welcome to What's Bubbling at ZIM. I'm inventor Dan Zen, and in this bubbling we're going to take a look at some of the changes that have come with ZIM 5.1.0. So let's go to the ZIM site now at ZIMjs.com, and we'll go down to the docs, and if we want to see updates we click on the updates link right here. These are the updates for ZIM 5.1. So we've gone from ZIM 5 down here to 5.1. Now that means that we've added something important. If we go to, in this column right here, we've missed these ones. This column at the end is for bugs, bug fixes, and little updates and stuff like that. When we add a new feature, though, we increase this column. So the feature that we've added is ZIM Blob, and we'll do a bubbling on Blob next. But in this bubbling, we want to take a look at some of the smaller changes, at least 3 of them here, smaller changes that have happened in this update. One of them is the ticker, ZIMticker.add. We no longer need to specify the stage if we've only got one stage, so that's good. It was always bugging me, we'd pass the function in here and we'd have to remember to say, hey, what stage also are you going to be updating? And that was annoying because 99% of the time you've only got one stage. And so what we've done is we said, hey, in the background of ZIM, the first frame to launch will be a default frame and have a default stage. And if we don't specify a stage here, then we'll assume that. So we may be rolling that assumption out into a few other places as well. But anyway, for now, you don't have to specify the stage unless you're working in a second frame where you've got another stage. Then you would need to remember to specify the stage at that point. So that's good. And I'll show you that in code. We also wanted to take a look at the slider. It's got these things called ticks, and the ticks were create.js shapes, which meant we couldn't use the ZIMforth methods on them. So I'll show you that. Oh, we made a big improvement there. No, I'm teasing. We just made those ZIM shapes now so we can use the ZIMforth methods on it. So I'll take you through that as well in code. And the one that I won't take you through in code is this. We added a failed event to the frame so that if the canvas isn't supported when you're making frame, you'll receive, instead of a ready event, you'll receive a failed event. And you can create a message in JavaScript that says, hey, you need to update your browsers, that kind of thing. And thanks, Frank, for asking for that. Okay, there's some other minor ones here too that were helpful. The text area and the loader, they use this HTML overlay, and if you put that into a pane, it turned out that if you close the pane, it wasn't triggering the fact that that the text area, for instance, has been removed because it was a pane that was removed. Anyway, so now that's fixed. And the loader as well was saving a JPEG by default, and apparently on some earlier Android devices that wasn't supported. So I've changed the default to PNG, but you can pass in a parameter for that. Okay, so read through those. There's maybe a few more I missed there, but let's go into the code then and take a look at the first one, and that's with the ticker here. Okay, so just close that down. Here we are in ZIM 5.1.0, and we'll scroll down and we'll make ourselves a circle. Var fall is equal to a new ZIM dot circle, and we'll dot center that on the stage. I gotta slow down. Every time I do that, I type in a capital S. We'll center that on a stage like so. And let's take a look at that. Oh, ooh. Okay, and then we have a ticker of our, well, we don't have to store it in a variable. We could. ZIM.ticker, tickler, dot add. So the add is a method directly on the ticker class. That's called a static method then. And we're going to add a function, 2 squigglies. And we used to have to always remember to come here and say which stage, which reference to the stage we're dealing with. But now it will take a default there. And we can say ball.x++, semicolon. We don't have to update the stage because the ticker has a function in it, and therefore it will run an update, one single update after all of the functions that it runs. And unless you have ZIM optimize turned on to true, in which case if you wanted the ticker to update, you would have to say ticker.update equals true as well, if optimize is true. So we save that up, and let's check it out in the browser, and that ball now moves over to the right, animating. So yay, ZIM ticker add, we can just put a single function in there. By the way, you can separate that out. As I'm sure you're aware, you could call this animate, for instance. So that go there, and then we would say, well, we had our function animate, like so, would go there. Okay, so you could just say, hey, the function we want to add is animate, and then declare animate down below. And if we want that to go the other way, we can save that up, and let's see the ball go the other way. And now the ball's going the other way, okay. So that's the ticker. And now let's take a look at the slider. Var slider equals, I got that minus sign going. My keyboard shifted. Var slider equals a new ZIM dot slider, round brackets, dot center on the stage. Oh, I almost got it. Look at that. I got the small s, but too many G's. Okay, and let's take a look at that. Slider on the stage. There she be. Now sometimes you want ticks with that slider. To get ticks, you need to, first of all, have a step. By default, the step is 0, which means it's continuous, and therefore you can't get ticks. But step colon 1, if we make a step colon 1 and use ticks colon true, like so, then we'll see some ticks. Let me refresh here, and there's some ticks. Now you may want those, I think this is going from 0 to 10 or something like that. So you may want those in the middle, down here. So before, the ticks were a create.js shape for maximum efficiency, I suppose. But then, you know, I was working on it, and I just wanted to move the ticks, which is most likely what you want to do. So I went to go use the move, which would look like this. Slider.ticks references that ticks container. .move. I don't want to move it in the X. And we want to move it like 22 in the Y or something like that. So we save that, and we refresh here. And now maybe 21. Pretty close though, huh? Yeah. So now the ticks have been moved. But if you were going to try that in the last version, it wouldn't work because the ticks were a create.js shape and it wouldn't know that. So at that point, you could say ZIMify. Anytime you have a create.js object, you're welcome to ZIMify it, slider.ticks. Like so, and in doing that, it would add the ZIMforth methods. I can do it. It would add the ZIMforth methods like move. But now we don't have to because we made that, oh, so major adjustment. Teasing. Okay, so that's been a few things that's been bubbling in this latest update. The big thing though is blobs, and we're going to do a bubbling on blobs next. Looking forward to it. Have a great day. I'm Inventor Dan Zen. ZIM at ZIMjs.com. Ciao.